Right, yeah. Little old 175K6, which was on the other videos in the old backyard of where we were before we were here. Yeah, long story, whatever. As you can see, it runs not totally right. It's just hunter tad, but I think it just needs a little fine tune. I just don't think I get it quite right, so I may eventually get my friend Stevie to have a little look at it, because he's much more onto these things. He's very mechanical, he runs his own business and is good at sort of getting things just right, so he'll probably just sort of sort that out for me, but that's going to have to wait until it's registered and stuff. And anyway, once it's actually registered, the idea is to then take it apart totally and give it a proper clean up. In terms of, there's some bits of rust on the frame and stuff like that, which I want to just clean up and sort out, like another little bits of rust here and there and the other, just to sort of, you know, not restore it but tidy it up, so it's just a little bit more usable. Although for me it's a slightly small bike, but I can use it. But yeah, just sort of make sure that, you know, it's not going to get too affected by the weather and stuff, although chances are I'll only use it when it's dry. But, you know, whatever, get caught out, or might just be a little bit of salt left on the roads by the time of year I get it out, something like that. Tidy up. You know, not worry about getting the tank sorted or anything, but possibly just catching some of these little chips and things, just to stop the rust catching into them. And of course eventually, new side panel, which I have, got that a few years ago, which is good because I can't find any now. So that's ready to go on whenever, but I'm leaving it off for the moment because I don't want to risk doing any damage to it. I've got to leave it in the box because I don't really need it. The air filters are a little bit bodged in that new air filters, you can find if you look hard enough, but the price of them is horrendous. What people are after them is horrendous. 75 quid a go, whatever, at least. I mean, you know, 140 quid for a set of filters to provide, you know, whatever. So I redid those ones. I cut out the, I got a set basically of old ones, cut out the paper, most of it, burnt out the rest with the little blowtorch, and then I put in the foam strips coupled with gauze, which has seemed to work quite well. Basically, it's done the job. You can't see them anyway, don't make no odds. But unfortunately, what happened was, you see here, they were later filters, which were used on the later versions of this, the K7, the latest K6s like this, the K7s and CL200s and CB200s. But the actual hose is longer. So I've done all the trouble of doing that stuff and hadn't bothered to check the hose. So then I had to, well, the hose had started to split anyway at the front, so I had to trim those off and use some old bits of fork gate which I had lurking around. That's the tube, hose clip, whatever form you want, to basically mate them up to the carburetors, which has worked well. It doesn't look great, but you know, it's moderately tidy and it does the job. And eventually I shall do the same to the original filters, and when they go on, of course, they'll look a bit better. So, yeah, done. Right, it's even got a toolkit in there, but it ain't the original one. It's a toolkit I made up out of bits and pieces of Honda toolkits that I happen to have. Built up in my long association because I had some, I used to have a big whole box of Honda toolkits and bits and pieces of work, and they were never selling, and the boss always said chuck them out if you don't think they're going to sell. But what I did was chuck some of the stuff my way and left the rest, but they chucked all that eventually anyway once I got sick. The other thing new on here is that I did something to the rear of the silencer. That was all rotted, so I filled it with epoxy metal stuff. That's a couple of aluminium, a piece of aluminium pipe sliced into two pieces, and obviously the ubiquitous hose clips. The thing is though, I won't make quite a pleasing exhaust note when oh, I do say I'm a lot, don't I? Make quite a pleasing exhaust note when it was running. It also had this horrible hard to describe, but really annoying noise as well. So what I then did to get rid of that was I got some tube, this little size, and put it in the back and held it in with that epoxy metal stuff as a sort of an extra baffle as such, but mostly to get rid of that horrible noise it was making, which was not pleasing at all. Unlike a nice sort of loud exhaust noise, it was a horrible whittling noise, which I just couldn't get rid of, so got it. That did the thing. Of course I have to make this exhaust last, because getting new exhausts is practically impossible. If you find second-hand ones on eBay, they're mostly rotted out of the back anyway, and they're asking silly money for them. As it happens, I do actually have up in my rafters here, as you can see, I've got all sorts of stuff up in the rafters here, on my Triumph crate ends shelving. That's where it came from, Triumph motorcycle crates. A Phil 175 exhaust, which unfortunately is for a K4, K5, so it's actually a bit different, but I may have to bang it on one day, but for the moment I'll keep the old one going. And but yeah, as you can see, lots of stuff hidden up the back there. More shelves up the back there, that's wooden planks. They actually came out the bottom of Honda DeVille crates. So, you know, we make use of what we can find. Of course, I'll never get any more of that stuff anymore, now I'm out of a Honda tray, but there you go, all sorts of bits and pieces, if you could see it, which is probably a bit difficult because it's a bit dark up there. But anyway, whatever. So anyway, just to bring up to date on the CL, while I'm doing the CD, and while I'm waiting for money to come through, so I might end up getting bike number, well, I'll try again now, 7 and possibly 8 eventually. It depends how much money I get and what I decide to get, basically. It's a legacy from my aunt, but it depends on when a house sells and how much a house sells for, which it had sold, but then there was problems, and now it's all locked down and nothing's happening anyway, so for the moment they're on hold. Anyhow, done, off again. We will talk, I will be back sometime, probably, you know, as I'm progressing on with the CD, I shall talk about that a little bit. Okay, bye bye.